I built this workflow in 3 hours and someone paid me $5,000 for it. And honestly, if I rebuilt it today, it would take me maybe 30 minutes. The crazy part is, you could probably build this exact same thing, and I'm going to show you how. Look, when I first started messing around with n8n, I had no idea people would actually pay for this stuff. I was just building random workflows for fun, and then something incredible happened that changed everything. Here's what this workflow does. It reads every email that hits your inbox, creates perfect AI summaries in seconds, and organizes everything automatically. No more spending hours reading emails, no more missing important messages, just pure productivity. Let me tell you exactly how this happened, because this story will blow your mind. I had just finished building this email automation workflow. Nothing fancy, just something I thought would be useful for managing my own inbox. Instead of keeping it to myself, I decided to share it on the n8n official website. Now, I wasn't expecting much. Maybe a few downloads, some feedback, that's it. But within the first 3 hours of posting this workflow, something incredible happened. I refreshed the page and saw 500 views, then 600, then 800. People were downloading it like crazy. But here's where it gets really interesting. About 30 minutes after hitting 500 views, I get this email in my inbox. The subject line reads, "Saw your workflow on n8n. Can we talk about a custom implementation?" I'm thinking, this can't be real. But this business owner had seen my workflow, tried it out, and realized he needed something similar but customized for his specific business needs. We hopped on a call, and he told me his problem: 200 plus emails daily, spending 4 hours just reading them, missing important stuff constantly. His business was suffering. That's when I realized the true value of what I had built. This wasn't just a cool automation. This was a business solution that could save hours every single day. So when he asked about pricing, I threw out $5,000. He agreed almost immediately because he understood the math. If this saves him 3 hours daily, that's worth way more than $5,000. 3 hours of work. $5,000 in my account. And it all started because I shared my workflow on the n8n platform where the right people could find it. Now let me show you what makes this workflow so valuable that thousands of people have already downloaded it. Think of it like having a super smart assistant who never sleeps, never takes breaks, and reads every email the moment it arrives. The Gmail Watchdog. The first component is what I call the Gmail Watchdog. This isn't your typical email checker that runs every 15 minutes. This is constantly monitoring your inbox in real time. It's like having someone sitting by your computer 24/7, but they never get tired, never miss anything, and never need a coffee break. What makes this special is the level of customization. You can set it to monitor specific labels, filter by sender domains, or even look for specific keywords and subject lines. My original client wanted to only track emails from customers and suppliers, which immediately reduced noise by 70%. The email decoder. When a new email gets detected, it goes through what I call the email decoder. Here's the thing about emails. They come in all shapes and formats. Some are plain text, others have complex HTML formatting, some have attachments, others have embedded images. This component is like having the world's most efficient mail processor. It extracts the sender information, cleans up the subject line, pulls out the actual content regardless of format, checks for attachments, and even captures the exact timestamp. Then, it organizes everything into a standardized format that the AI can understand perfectly. The technical magic here is in the JavaScript code that handles different email formats. Whether it's a simple text email or a complex HTML newsletter, this component converts everything into clean, readable data. This pre-processing step is crucial because garbage in means garbage out when it comes to AI processing. The smart filter. Here's where strategy meets automation. Not every email needs AI processing, right? This is where the smart filter comes in. I call it the bouncer because it decides who gets past the velvet rope. You can set up multiple filtering conditions. Maybe you only want to process emails from your customers, or perhaps you want to filter out promotional emails and newsletters. Some of my clients set up filters based on email content, only processing emails that contain certain keywords like urgent, payment, or contract. The beauty is in the flexibility. One client set up filters to process customer service emails during business hours and escalation emails 24/7. Another client filters emails by project names mentioned in the subject line. The possibilities are endless, and this is where you can really customize the workflow to match specific business needs. The AI brain. This is where the real magic happens, and it's the component that makes people go, wow, every single time. The AI doesn't just read your emails, it understands context, identifies key information, and creates intelligent summaries that capture exactly what you need to know. But here's what makes this incredibly valuable. You can program the AI to think exactly how you want it to think. Want formal business summaries? Done. Need casual, friendly summaries? Easy. Want it to focus specifically on action items and deadlines? Just tell it that's what you want. I use Grok's language model because it's lightning fast and incredibly affordable, but the prompt customization is where the real power lies. For my original client, I programmed it to identify customer requests, extract any mentioned deadlines, and flag potential sales opportunities. For another client, I set it up to summarize legal document reviews and highlight any compliance issues. The AI processing happens in seconds, but the intelligence level is equivalent to having a skilled assistant read and summarize every email for you. That's why clients are willing to pay premium prices for this level of automation. The record keeper. Everything gets automatically logged to Google Sheets through what I call the record keeper. This isn't just data dumping, this creates a searchable, sortable, filterable database of all your email communications. You get columns for sender information, timestamps, subject lines, the original content, and most importantly, the AI-generated summary. But here's where it gets really powerful. You can add custom columns for things like priority levels, project assignments, or follow-up dates. Imagine being able to search through 6 months of emails in seconds. Need to find that conversation about the Johnson project from last month? Search Johnson in the summaries column and find it instantly. Looking for all emails that mention pricing discussions? One search, all results. You know what's fascinating about this workflow? When people first see it, they sometimes think it looks too simple. You might even laugh at how basic the visual structure appears. But that's exactly why it works so well and why it's been downloaded thousands of times. I learned something crucial early in my automation journey. Clients don't want complicated systems they can't understand or modify. They want elegant solutions that solve their problems without creating new headaches. The simpler and more reliable it is, the more valuable it becomes to busy business owners. When I first started building workflows, I made them incredibly complex because I thought complexity justified higher prices. I was completely wrong. The most successful automations I built are the ones that look deceptively simple but solve real problems elegantly. Here's something important I need to share with you. While you can run this workflow on your local computer, I highly recommend the n8n cloud platform if you want this running 24/7. This isn't a sales pitch, it's practical advice from someone who's learned the hard way. When clients pay $5,000 for email automation, they expect enterprise-level reliability. They want it working when they're sleeping, when they're on vacation, and when their office computer is turned off. The cloud platform ensures your workflow never stops, never misses an email, and runs with the same reliability as the apps they use every day. Big companies especially need this kind of continuous operation. I've had clients where a missed email could mean a lost contract worth tens of thousands of dollars. You can't afford downtime when you're dealing with that level of business impact. Let me share something that took me years to understand about pricing automation services. Clients aren't paying for the workflow itself, they're paying for the transformation it creates in their business operations. My original client wasn't paying me $5,000 for 3 hours of technical work. He was paying for the 3 hours daily he'd get back, the reduced stress of never missing important emails, the improved client relationships from faster response times, and the business growth that comes from focusing on revenue-generating activities instead of email management. Here's the actual math that justified his investment. If this workflow saves him 3 hours daily at a conservative 75-hour value of his time, that's $225 daily in time savings. Over a month, that's $67.50 saved. The $5,000 investment pays for itself in just over 3 weeks, then generates pure value forever. But the real value goes beyond time savings. Better email management means faster client responses, which improves customer satisfaction. It means never missing important opportunities because they got buried in your inbox. It means having a searchable record of all business communications for compliance and analysis. If I had to start building automation businesses from scratch today, here's exactly what I'd do. And this strategy came directly from my experience with the n8n platform. First, I'd start sharing my learning journey and workflows on the n8n official website, not positioning myself as some untouchable expert, just showing what I'm building and the problems I'm solving. The authenticity of learning in public builds incredible trust and attracts the right kind of clients. The n8n community is filled with business owners looking for solutions. When you share a workflow that solves a real problem, people notice. They'll reach out, not because you're the world's greatest expert, but because you've demonstrated you can solve problems they're facing. Second, I get really good at identifying business problems, not just building technical solutions. You want to become a business consultant who happens to use automation, not just a technical person who builds workflows. Learn to diagnose business inefficiencies and prescribe automation solutions. Third, I'd focus on building simple, reliable solutions rather than complex, impressive-looking systems. Business owners care about results, not technical complexity. The most successful automation I've ever built looked deceptively simple, but solved major business problems. The beautiful thing about mastering this email workflow is that it's the foundation for dozens of other automation opportunities. Customer service automation, lead qualification, content curation, document processing. Once you understand the core principles, you can adapt them for any email-based business process. Every component I've shown you can be modified, combined with other services, and scaled for different business sizes. Small businesses might want basic email summaries, while enterprises might need complex routing, escalation rules, and integration with multiple business systems. I want to share a secret about the automation business that most people don't understand. The technical skills are just the entry point. The real value and the real money comes from understanding business processes and being able to design solutions that integrate seamlessly into existing workflows. When I work with clients now, I spend more time understanding their business operations than I do building the actual automation. How do they currently handle emails? What causes bottlenecks? Where do important messages get lost? What would perfect email management look like for their specific situation? This business understanding is what allows you to charge $5,000 for workflows that might take 3 hours to build. You're not selling technical implementation, you're selling business transformation. The workflow I'm giving you today represents thousands of dollars in value, but more importantly, it represents a complete education in building AI-powered business automation. Every technique, every component, every design decision is something you can use to build custom solutions for other businesses. Remember, this isn't just about email automation. This is about understanding how to solve real business problems with AI-powered workflows. Every principle I've shown you applies to countless other business processes that need automation. The complete workflow download is in the description below. Enter your email address and I'll send you everything. The complete workflow file with detailed comments, setup instructions for each component, customization guides for different industries, and bonus materials including my pricing guide for automation services. But here's what I really want you to understand. Downloading the workflow is just the beginning. The real value comes from understanding how each piece works, why I made specific design decisions, and how you can adapt these concepts for other business challenges. Once you master these principles, you'll be able to charge premium prices for custom solutions. You'll be able to look at any business process and see automation opportunities. You'll be able to build a profitable consulting business around AI-powered workflow solutions. If you want to see how I've taken these same principles and built an even more advanced social media automation workflow that generates completely passive income for my clients, that's exactly what I'm breaking down in my videos.